bringing home the bacon. Hawkeyes take down rival Minnesota.
And over the weekend, a downtown shooting shocks Birmingham residents.
A big push. The Iowa City art scene boosts funding.
The first days of fall are bringing cool weather. I'll have the rest of forecast today in weather.
All that and more
coming up right now on DITV.
Iowa City. It's Monday, September 23rd, and I'm Hannah Lipsky.
And I'm Avery Arns. And the third member of our team, Isabel Thier, is live outside to tell us today's weather story.
Isabel, with the first day of fall being over the weekend, will we see these fall temperatures anytime soon?
Go ahead, Isabel, talk. Yes, guys. It's feeling a lot like fall right now. I'm currently in front of the Pentacrest, where it's a brisk 54 degrees with dense cloud coverage. Taking a look at downtown Iowa City, we'll warm up to 72 degrees today, but constant cloud coverage. Getting into tonight, we'll dip back into the 50s with a low of 56. Tomorrow, the clouds will continue to hang around Iowa City with a high being slightly warmer, 74. Now these temperatures are promising, but later on in the week, we'll continue to warm up. I'll have what the rest of the week looks like later on in weather.
The Iowa Hawkeyes brought home the Floyd of Rosedale Trophy when they beat the Minnesota Golden Gophers 31-14 over the weekend. DITV's Brady Barron and Elise Gann took the trip to Minnesota.
Swarm, go grab the trophy. I mean, there's no better feeling.
Iowa was led by yet another dominant performance from Caleb Johnson, where he rushed for a career 206 yards and 3 touchdowns.
You know, he's always been a big, strong guy and a talented guy, but right now he's really just focused and I think really coming into his own in terms of using what strengths and abilities he does have.
My O-line, they work their butts off every day. So night and day, and they just keep working. So I just really appreciate them for opening the holes and allowing me to do what I do.
While Iowa drove up the yards on the ground, the Golden Gophers were stuck in neutral, only able to rack up 79 yards on the ground.
You believe in Coach Parker, you believe in Coach Wallace, you believe in that whole defensive staff, and whatever they call, you play to the best of your ability, and we believe in them, and we just knew we had to go out and compete. And that's really what it came down to.
The offense also helped the defense out by taking care of the football. Coming into the game, Minnesota led the Big Ten in interceptions, but Iowa was able to keep the ball in hand, and they even forced a couple turnovers of their own.
Defense coming up with 2 interceptions, and I've always a positive, and got a touchdown off of Jay's pick in the first half. Good team football there.
Quinn Schulte got a pick of his own in the fourth quarter to seal the Hawkeye victory. But Elise, despite some positives for the Hawkeyes tonight, it was kind of a tale of two halves like it has been all season for the Hawks.
That's right, Brady. The Hawkeyes have displayed themselves as a second-half team these past 4 games, and tonight was no exception. It was a tale of 2 halves for Iowa in the annual fight for the Floyd of Rosedale Trophy in Minnesota. As they went into halftime with a total of only 107 yards, the Hawkeyes appeared unrecognizable in the second half. Iowa stormed back on the field to immediately tie the game on their first drive of the half, fueling their momentum and mental persistence that would eventually win them the game.
We were sitting at halftime knowing that we were better than that. Obviously, defensively, we don't want to give up a late score like that, so that obviously we were irritated. And the offense knew that they left some stuff out there on the board, so honestly, they were really excited to get back out there.
Iowa stormed back on the field to immediately tie the game on their first drive of the half, fueling their momentum and mental persistence that would eventually win them the game. Learning from their earlier mistakes, the Hawkeyes took higher interest in running the ball and laid low on the pass plays. Caleb Johnson excelled once again, displaying his effortless power, while Jazian Patterson hopped on the star running back train as well, pushing the ball down the field with ease.
I think that just shows the character of this team that, we're not looking that far ahead down the season. We're doing everything we can to win, these next 30 minutes.
Despite the slow start, the Hawkeyes battled through the last 30 minutes and brought Floyd back to Iowa City.
Yeah, that's right, Elise, but now the Hawkeyes will head into the bye week with a trip to Ohio State on the horizon. From Huntington Bank Stadium, I'm Brady Barron.
And I'm Elise Gann, DITV Sports.
The battle for Floyd took place both on and off the field. DITV Assistant News Director Jace Bertrand was in Minneapolis, where some devoted fans showed their support in a special way.
While the Hawkeyes battled it out for glory on the field, Iowa fans flocked to Minneapolis to give their support while surrounded by Gophers. For many of them, they were drawn to the game for one reason.
College football. I love college football, and I love Gopher football. I'm here to see Floyd get home.
We just got to stand up for ourselves, you know? We got to represent that Hawkeye spirit here when we're here in Minneapolis.
The majority of Minnesota's campus was filled to the brim with maroon, but scatters of black and gold could be spotted, leading to some banter between fans.
A lot of smack talk, but it's not going to faze us. We're going to come out on top. It's going to be great.
Of course, they think they're going to win. I think we're going to win. We got a good team this year.
Last year's fair catch controversy was still fresh on everyone's mind, something both sides seemed keen on addressing.
It was an illegal fair catch because he kept doing this. If it wasn't a fair catch, why didn't you blow it down right away? Why did you let the play go?
Hey, we're moving on to this game. That's all that matters. That's last year. This is this year, and we're just worried about the game tonight.
I'm actually naming my first son after Cooper DeJean, and so it was not a fair catch whatsoever.
And although school spirit was high for both teams, the chatter wasn't entirely negative between fans.
Hey, they're my friends. That's awesome. They're friendly and we're friendly. We just like diversity.
Well, we got a guy wearing propaganda shirt here about a fair catch, but he's been a good guy.
And while the battle for Floyd may come to a conclusion today, Hawkeye and Gopher fans alike are excited to see the battle go down next year. From the University of Minnesota, Jace Bertrand, DITV.
A shooting took place in Birmingham, Alabama over the weekend at a popular nightlife location. 4 people were killed and 17 were injured on Saturday night, with the shooters still at large. Birmingham Police Chief Scott Thurman believes the shooting was a murder for hire, with the shooters pulling up to the scene, firing, then fleeing. Birmingham Mayor Randall Woodfin says his priority is finding the suspects and apprehending them as quickly as possible. With only 6 weeks until the presidential election, some voters are beginning to cast their ballots. Early in-person voting started in Minnesota, South Dakota, and Virginia over the weekend. 5 other states will begin forms of early voting this month, with the rest of the U.S. following in October. Early voting allows voters to cast their ballots before Election Day due to circumstances that might make it difficult to vote on the day of, but most states don't require a reason for early voting. And Hannah, it's no secret that Iowa City is a hotspot for the arts, but even hotspots need a little help sometimes.
You're right, Avery. DITV News reporter Marshawn Gunn is live in the newsroom to tell us about how local art organizations are getting a boost from the government.
Thanks, Avery and Hannah. Iowa City has always been a powerhouse for the arts, and now many art organizations in the area are receiving funding from Iowa government.
It is embarrassing versus sometimes, so there's so much going on, it's hard to choose what to go to.
Art has always been extremely relevant around Iowa City. Groups like Iowa Economic Development Authority recognize that and have come to help out some of the organizations.
The grant is really special in a lot of ways because it does go towards operational needs. Each year we do tell the IEDA what we plan to spend that towards. This year it's providing salary support not only for the artistic staff, but also for education and outreach staff.
The IEDA has granted a total of $100,000 to 11 different art organizations around Iowa City. That's just a small portion of the $1.7 million that the IEDA is granting to organizations all around Iowa.
That support is incredibly critical, not just to what we do here, but to the overall arts ecosystem in the state and here in the city of Iowa City.
These grants show that the government recognizes the rich history and the economic benefit of the arts. But the organizations know that they would never be at this point if it weren't for the dedicated community of Iowa City.
I'm also impressed by this community and just how curious they are and engaged, because it's not every community that will show up for some of these challenging films or that are hungry for more and eager to come together truly as a community and share an experience.
The money granted by the IEDA will be used in multiple different ways, with all to keep the Iowa City community involved in the arts. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, Marshawn. An Iowa City nonprofit is redirecting its focus to early childhood education. Neighborhood Centers of Iowa City is expanding to its third nonprofit location. This expansion will feature a new building with 1041 Arthur Street as the main location. The American Rescue Act helped fund the project, with over $2 million gifted to the organization. Neighborhood Centers is currently working to raise another $1.5 million for a new facility. Childcare options will be offered with 50 slots open for children aged newborn to 5. This week, the Infinite Dreams Festival is returning to Hancher Auditorium. The festival looks to tell the American story through the art of University of Iowa students and members of the Iowa City community. This year, the festival celebrates the 100th birthday of American author and poet James Baldwin.
For ever and ever, we look back to Baldwin's writing to tell us truths, often uncomfortable truths about our country.
Begins tomorrow evening with the first On Baldwin reading at 5 p.m. in the Stanley Cafe at Hancher Auditorium. Now let's take a look back outside with weather with Isabel.
Hi, Hannah. As I was saying before, the heat is going to come back later this week. Taking a look at the week ahead, the sun will be shining bright Wednesday with highs returning to the upper 80s all the way until Friday. On Friday, though, we will start to see chances for showers to remain constant throughout the weekend. While the rain will cool off some of the heat, highs are expected to be in the mid to high 70s. Only constant we'll see is lows that they will all hang in the 50s. While these first couple of days, our fall, have brought a promise, the summer heat continues to be a pest and not go away. Guys, I'll send it back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Isabel. Now, while football happened Saturday, other Hawkeyes competed this weekend.
Yes, Hannah, and to catch us up on some of those games, we're going to toss it to Colin Carithers for sports.
Yeah, thanks, guys. After winning a nail-biter Thursday night, the Iowa volleyball team played 2 games over the weekend in the Quick Start Classic. DITV News Director Johnny Voltman has how the team did ahead of opening Big Ten play.
Game 2 of the Quick Start Classic picked up right where the Hawks left off the night prior as Iowa's offense gelled together and were able to capture set 1. Unlike Thursday night's game, though, St. Louis fought hard to capture set 2.
We started off well this game and the last one, but when you let a team back in it, they can gain momentum and beat you.
With the momentum, the Billikens cruised to a 3rd set victory. Despite Iowa keeping pace the entire 4th set, St. Louis pulled away late to capture a victory.
We did execute on a lot of our game, or out-blocked them, out-dug them, out-served them, but we didn't have enough kill production. We needed more people putting the ball away.
Entering Saturday's matchup against in-state opponent Drake, the Bulldogs had the Hawks on the ropes after winning the first 2 sets with ease. Stepping up, the Hawkeyes were able to secure the 3rd set before Drake bounced back and 1 set forward.
We're not going to give up, but we're going to keep fighting and try to keep our head about ourselves because it's an up and down, emotional game.
After their 1-2 performance this weekend, the Hawkeyes will travel to the East Coast Thursday to open up Big Ten play against Rutgers. The Hawks will return to the nest on October 4th for their Big Ten home opener against Washington. From Coralville, Iowa, Johnny Voltman, DITV.
And the 4th-ranked Iowa field hockey team were thrown off course in the Windy City against the top-ranked Northwestern Wildcats. It was a defensive battle in the first quarter, but the Wildcats struck first with less than a minute into the second period. Iowa's Mia Magnotta had a career-high 10 saves and goal, but it wasn't enough as Northwestern continued to push on offense and create shot opportunities and would eventually take down the Hawkeyes 5-0. Iowa moves to 4-2 on the season and will travel out to Rutgers for their next contest this upcoming Friday. And a lot going on this past weekend, but honestly, I'm just happy that they're getting into Big Ten competition. Throw it back over to you guys.
Yeah, thank you, Colin. And thank you for joining us online or listening to KRUI 89.7 FM.
We are here live from Iowa City every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8:30 a.m. and online anytime at dailyiowan.com.
For Marshawn Gunn, Isabel Thayer, and Colin Carithers, I'm Hannah Lipsky.
And I'm Avery Arn. See you again on Monday morning right here on DITV.